Hello and welcome to the usual madness that is the Tech Off Topic podcast. I'm Mike Elsmore, and we have been rejoined after a ridiculously long gap, which, as far as I can tell, is mostly my fault and kind of Jim's fault. Hi, Jim.
Was it mostly your fault? I don't think that's true.
I was the one on the road for for 3 months.
That's true. You have been on the road for silly amounts of time. I've been fairly sort of useless. There was a meetup that we're on the team for that happened last night, and I wasn't on that because of childcare. I've basically sort of I've become a sort of work hermit. So I think, I think we can get justification. It depends if there's any people that are interested or are actually watching this. Oh yeah, we've not done any promo. Have you got the YouTube link?
Should we tell people we're doing things? I've already published that stuff.
Oh, okay.
That's how you knew to tell me it was. Okay, we need to make it later. For those of you who are listening to this thing via the medium of your favorite podcasting software, this is, of course, me and Jim being award-winning hosts, knowing exactly what we're doing.
Award-winning podcast. It's okay. It's okay. But this won't make the cut, will it?
Oh yeah, it will.
You're editing now. You can just edit it out. Yeah. They don't have to know.
But yeah. So yes. Usual shenanigans.
The one thing I wanted to. I'm sorry, it's remote as well, because remote's never as fun. But one thing that Mike moaned about was that he getting lunch in the jewelry quarter in Birmingham in the UK was that there weren't enough quick 5-minuters. And the first thing that happens when it comes to Greg's that I think of is a 7.5 minute techno track by someone called something like Russian Machine or something. No, Machine Woman. And it's this Scottish woman that's just narrating, and she's talking about going to Salford Shopping Centre and going to the Greg's, and she had to go to Greg's to ask the lovely lady that serves sausage rolls how to get to Argos. Mike, have you ever listened to this? What are we doing again? What's that question? Do you mean being disorganized or just doing the podcast? Have you heard the radio podcast thing that I did? Did you ever listen to any of it?
The radio podcast thing.
The music one.
Oh yeah, that wasn't technically radio. That was just a DJ set list.
DJ, yeah, it wasn't me mixing properly though.
It was also not really published because you were afraid of having to deal with the lawyers from Universal.
Yeah, that's true. Not necessarily Universal, just all lawyers really. It was but the track was, so it's Machine Woman, and this is proof to everybody that when I do the blurb on the tracks. You know how you have we have ChatGPT now that can just do it for you, or someone goes away and comes back on Slack or an instant messenger says, actually, I think you'll find I don't do that. I do have the music knowledge. I think the track is called Have You Been to Salford Shopping Centre? Have You Seen the Argos? I think that's the name of the track.
So it's literally that nail on head.
Yes, I think that's literally what the track is called. Also, This is tech off topic, so I must definitely go down a sort of a tech route with this. The Greg's in the shopping centre where I live is actually shut down, and it's turned. I mean, they've moved down the shopping centre into a bigger premises, and now it's like a little cafe. It's like a little cafe where it's like, here's your 50p coffee, and here's a sausage roll for £1. They're making a killing. That place is full all the time. I went to Asda to do my general shop, and it's like £50, and I've bought bread.
And you could not sound any more like a dad as then. It's just generally home.
Home. I've got I need to go and get into the jag. Right.
That's my thing. Don't steal my thing.
No, I hate your thing. It's just it doesn't make sense. Normally we have the conversation topics and all of that, and I've basically done nothing apart from a last minute sort of WTF.
Yeah, but I've done some as well. And
the jag.
Okay.
Have we got? Incidentally, you'll have to tell me if White Panther's on this, just so I can try. I can turn.
There is no Salma on this, as far as I can tell.
Well, if she does, then I'll try and turn up my entertainment factor more, rather than just. I'm not phoning in. I'm just very tired, and I've eaten a curry in the space of 5 minutes.
That sounds delightful. Well, we do. Where are you? Your channel point redemptions are disabled for the point of the podcast. Sorry, they'll be back afterwards. But we do have some talking points. I'm going to say it now. Let's get the 2 Twitter ones out of the way. Because everybody, we seem to have come to a conclusion that we're allowed to have Twitter talking points because we got bored of it, but we've not been online for like 2 months. So now we're allowed to talk about morons. Like do you know what? I didn't even put the Zuckerberg versus Musk fake fight thing. It was just who's looking at this news and thinking it's relevant to anybody. Oh, are they going to fight? No, they're not going to fight. But if they did, would you pay $100 to watch them beat the crap out of each other? Because I would.
I'd pay $100 if it was distributed in a sort of Kickstarter. I'd pay $100 with everybody else to persuade them to take it off air and just do it in one of their toilets in their houses, so nobody has to know about it.
Oh, but I actually want to watch them beat the living stink out of each other and just prove that their entire existence is pointless.
Doesn't my plan sort of say that anyway?
Yeah, but I don't get to see them all bloodied up afterwards that way.
They'd use AI to put the blood on, you know?
Oh, don't. I did a horrible talk on AI last night, so that's not. But yeah.
We're all going to lose our jobs. You're not going to lose your job. You're not going to lose your job. You might lose your job.
But yeah, okay. So the actual news point is that Twitter owes ex-employees about $500 million in severance from all the not quite legit doings when they laid them off last year at the beginning of this year. And I'm like, that is not an insignificant amount of money to have accidentally not paid.
Yeah, but it's like, so from our sort of early, when everybody had Twitter talking points and everyone was like, oh, what's he doing? And, blah, 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 and the microservices, and have we not really sort of come to a conclusion that now it's just, I don't think there was a plan. And if the plan doesn't work and the thing falls over, which he's slowly sort of graduating towards, isn't it just a write-off? And there you go, $44 billion write-off. What does he care about this? He owes $500 million severance. He's got no legal department. So
that's a lie. He has a very large personal legal department. Just Twitter
that's different. That's very different. Yes, I'm not allowed to get into trouble, but my company that I want to run into the ground.
That is ridiculous.
So, yeah, I mean, it's a significant number, but so what? You know, is he going to pay it? Who knows? All this boils down to is Twitter being put into administration, right? Which will eventually happen.
You know, there's that old thing that like, oh, yeah, you'll never be able to take down IBM, or oh, you'll never be able to take down BP, or oh, Shell. Like, they're just too big. Even if they do fail, something will save them.
Too big to fail, just like Northern Rock and what they called something brothers. What were they called? What was the New York
Lehman
Bank?
Brothers.
Lehman Brothers. Too big to fail. We're a bank.
Yeah. Now I'm just like, right, technically, Twitter is too flipping huge from a technology standpoint to fail. As in, like, as a unique piece of technology that is glued into every, like, how many people have got software that is their businesses are literally built off it and pay money to
But
them
they've
to
already
use it?
started. They've already started pulling the plug on that.
But my point was going to be, like, it's still how many people are going to then want to put money back into it to keep it alive? But the problem is that is going to be a
No one.
drop in the drop in the ocean for the operating costs. They'd be able to sneeze it alive for about 30 seconds before it dies again.
Yeah, this the slow death thing. I mean, interesting enough. What I really found fascinating, and maybe if I can be motivated, I will go on to Mastodon and actually get the link of Stuart Langridge display in detail. Was that the API for Blue Sky looks absolutely atrocious, like next level atrocious. And it reminded me, and I have actually replied to a topic on this that he's posted. It reminded me of when I worked at a music industry startup, and we were scraping stats off the Apple Music API, and so we had the stats that were the only stats that were important to the music industry marketing people. I could do all of this out in the open now because that company went bust because of COVID, and it's a shame because it was a really good product. Was we had to work with writing PHP classes to consume the Spotify API and writing classes to consume the Apple Music API. Spotify one, basic auth in header or JWTs, can't remember, in header, JSON, done. The Apple one was you had to download a private key file that was in a specific implementation in Java, and then it ran a Java virtual machine on the server, and the Java virtual machine spoke to the API. And the way it looked meant that I kind of think that the underlying tech that you didn't have to deal with was in SOAP, I think.
Hang on. So they introduced an entirely different set of technologies and an extra loop inside of your own box just to avoid having to write terrible WASDL commands. Well, commands, XML.
Yeah,
Right.
pretty
I
much.
can't tell which is
I
worse.
want to. And if anyone wants to hear horror stories, this is like the best segue into a plug now. If anyone wants to hear more about stupidities, you can watch me speak in Berlin in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, can't remember, on the history of APIs and silly stuff.
Make that too, because I'll be also there speaking with you.
I should have done the promo at the end.
Yeah, we'll do it again.
There's a suggestion in chat that it might have been done via Kafka, but I think the streaming possibly could be orchestrated by Kafka, but the actual app itself.
When was this?
I mean, this was about 2017.
I doubt so. I don't know Kafka.
They won't have changed it. They won't have changed how the API works. Token system, so looks like it should be a mixture of OAuth and JWT. I don't know. It was terrible anyway. But anyone that puts that kind of that many so apparently Blue Sky is pretty much the same bag.
I still don't have an invite for Blue Sky yet.
Nor do I, but I haven't chased one.
I'm trying to work out if that's because I am that unimpressive a person to be invited, or I'm being actively shunned.
Are you being sucked into the whole to be a tech influencer? You must be invited to all the things.
Well, due to the fact I flipping hate tech influencers, sorry, Eddie Eduardo. No, it's just because I genuinely want to find a place where I can do my ranting into the void of the internet that isn't Twitter.
Well, good news. Now you have 4 different voids to shout into.
Yeah. Okay. We've gone from okay. I've got one place to shout into the void that people can make funny responses on, to having how many do we have now? There's Twitter, Threads, Mastodon. Did you see the thing about Threads is meant to becoming part of the Fediverse?
What?
Yeah. Threads, Fediverse.
Okay. Why can't I comment? I'm logged in. I can see the comments. I should be able to comment.
Yeah, there's a thing. I believe it's even it's in. Yes, I've already signed up for the Threads app because I was stupid.
Threadiverse.
I believe there is a thing in its menu. Yeah, there is. There it is. And it will hopefully be joining the Fediverse.
Right.
And I'm unsure how to feel about this.
I think this is what happens when you get older. I just don't fucking care. just don't.
Your literal job relies on you caring, you muppet.
I know, but if it's split into this many, what I need to do is find out with for my current job where all the PHP people have gone, and at the moment they're on Mastodons, and I'll just stick on Mastodon. That's all right. You know what? I'm so tired. I said Mastodons plural, which was really good. That would just be like, they have secured our internets. There you go. Have you talking in the chat? Have you seen the thread? The tweet that someone did about PHP Rails saying never thought I'd die side by side with the PHP dev. the PHP dev says, how about side to side with a friend? I thought that's spot on.
I thought you were about to pick on me for my whole stinky PHP statements from last night.
Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know. But that's not worth talking about. Mike was trolling PHP last night, and that's what people do, and I don't care. So whatever.
Not trolling PHP. My problem with it is at the moment is the last production PHP I wrote was in 2016, and PHP Stan was only just becoming a standard part of Toolkit. So it was only being included in certain things that I was writing at the time. So nothing in anger I wrote used PHP Stan. Yes, PHP Unit, great. And PHP Code Sniffer, yeah, those were all by that point still default. But you run PHP Stan on code that has never had it executed, and it makes everything bleed.
Yeah, we'll get on to that later with a topic that you've put on there about we have no standards in the industry.
I put that one in there.
And no, I did. You can pay large amounts of money for people to realize your tech dream. Sorry, I can't. Sorry, exaggerator. And also, I've also got to let my cat in because my cat's being a dick. I can't. I'll need to find the side by side with a friend thing. I've just been looking for it. Right, and let the cat in.
Whilst Jim's letting in the cat,
you go for the next topic.
I'm going to get another bullshitty one out of the way just because, and it's bullshitty in the least state possible. But like, I don't know. I want to know how people feel about Reddit, because Reddit's been going through a little bit of an identity crisis, considering the inventor was information should be free and available to everybody. To the point they broke into the university to legally it was stealing to release journal information and stuff to the public so that people could do something educated. And then they did the whole, we're going to charge people out the bum hole, and oh no, we'll back that out so that anybody with accessibility software we don't get done. And now they are now removing Reddit Gold in their rewards program. So what they have spent...
I saw this hoo-ha about the whole gold awarding thing.
The problem is they built this entire ecosystem of people that literally were hunting for Reddit Gold and the awards and stuff, and actually like achievement hunting. And they did it really successfully. And they're going to completely gut it. It's like, So you've made it difficult for people to use your platform. You've made it harder for people to access your platform. And then the entire gamification system you've used that made it so popular, you're pulling it. I think some people's maybe making bad choices.
It's such a sort of insanely bad choice that the only conclusion that you get from these sorts of things is some sort of massive strategy direction that comes at somebody that's in the sort of dark arts, in the top corridors of tech power or influence or policy or politics or whatever, and just says, I can paywall this as a product at a fraction of the price, and it doesn't matter that we lose absolutely everybody, and it doesn't matter that the premise of our product changes, because we'll make some money and then we'll sell it. That's basically, isn't it? Well, that's what it feels like to me. And there's your natural conclusion. Mike's got nothing to add to that.
Oh, there's nothing to add, because it just feels like somebody is going like, you know what sounds like a great idea that we can make money out of later? This seems hello,
like a very
short-term thinking.
Well, short-term making makes fools of us all, doesn't it? In tech, I mean, that's just the way it is, and it's just prevalent everywhere.
Yeah. I still think it's fascinating. When it came to trying to gather links for this, everything that's happened, there's been nothing funny or stupid in the like, ha ha ha, man makes robotic arm and clamps to an appendage that it shouldn't have been levels of tech news. It's been serious. Oh, we've been doing this for 3 years now. Can we stop listening to this shit on repeat?
Why is so one thing I do need explained to me, because I was lazy and I didn't bother looking, was as a subject matter, I'm not going to. There's definitely not for the discussion, but I follow the world news thread on the Ukraine-Russian war a lot. The blackout because of changes to the API. What was that? Because I never looked at what it was.
Neither did I. I have no idea.
Oh God, right. It's just not me then. It seemed like a lot of subreddits just on principle just went no. And I should have looked at why, because presumably they were doing something. Maybe someone in chat can do it.
I was about to say, if somebody who isn't active, like I'm a Reddit lurker, like I've posted a few things on behalf of employers previously, but otherwise I essentially just use it as a way of getting access to news articles that I find interesting. And that's about it. So
that's a boot. Did you say a boot on purpose there?
No.
Oh, that's hilarious. For anyone who doesn't know, Mike's girlfriend is Canadian, so that's quite funny. Just a new political incorrectness for a new song called "Turning Canadian." It's better than turning Japanese, because there's not strange underlying racism in there.
True, but at least that was a number one song for 2 weeks back in the late 90s? No, sorry, late 80s.
Early 80s. Vapors. It's the and also there's a lot of what's the sort of genre they call it? It's not really post punk, but it's sort of pre-Riot Girl stuff, and it's lots of very arty rubbish. There's a band like the Vapors called Delta 5, and they did a track called Mind Your Own Business, and it was covered by Chicks on Speed, and it's all sorts of like word soup lyrics that's supposed to be very, very clever and is in fact complete crap. There you go. 1980.
Jesus Christ.
1980. Do you reckon anybody could get away with this? It's like who did Japanese Boy as well?
There we go. I think we have an explanation for Reddit. Mods either setting them to private or NSFW to show their distaste for the changes to the API, making it NSFW stops ads for showing, making them private stops them from being able to be search indexed. And I've just done a little bit of Googling based upon what Xe was saying, which is it's about them going IPO. They were originally aiming for IPO the Q4 of this year. So that would explain why they're making big old changes now, so they land for when their value is when they're evaluated for the market. Then
we need stories. We genuinely need stories of scale ups getting to unicorn valuation level that just flawlessly do an IPO and it's fine and everyone's happy. I want to hear more of that.
Twilio. I know we shouldn't be saying this as
that was a what?
players.
That was a what? That was a, but that's I mean like now.
Oh, now, God, no! The invisible ghost money's been pulled out for before most of them can get that to that level.
I know, but like, it's just everything. Like, everyone just seems to be doing terrible things. It's just so. And also, I don't know, just things that are bad for humanity. I want the Oracle thing because I saw that and I saw everyone saying that it was terrible, and I didn't have time to read it properly. So,
right, no, it's right. So,
a new topic.
I know this. All right, so I'm going to drop the news into the chat so that everybody else knows what has a bit of context because I've forgotten to do that so far. I know what I'm doing.
So am I right in thinking the start of this is that the way that Oracle have written this of keep Linux open and free, we can't afford not to, already seems like there's emotional blackmail in the title.
Yeah, what they're essentially I think they're trying to get at that we're not evil concept, even though every piece of open source software they've had their hand in otherwise has either become shite and has had to be directly forked or has become licensed out the bumhole and has gone to court.
Right.
But I know this is all reaction to Red Hat, which, if people are unaware, is a IBM corporation looking to close down its fork of the Unix distribution. Well, it's not its fork; it's its flavor of Unix.
Right. So I didn't have the background to that as well. Right.
Right.
So but I thought Red Hat Linux was semi-proprietary.
It is semi-proprietary.
Right.
It also has massive support from Red Hat as an organization, but it is semi-proprietary. It's going to be going down the Windows route. It's Mac OS. It's FreeBSD. FreeBSD that's been closed down.
Okay.
It's the exact same jazz.
Being told off that it's getting free advertising for Oracle Linux, of which I don't really know anything about, and.
I'm not going to lie. I actually don't know anybody that has used Oracle Linux that
isn't
running Oracle software.
But I'm from sort of from. I've worked in enterprise land once with massive deals being signed with SQL Server and Oracle, and that land is a load of people skimming money from everything, and I haven't worked with anything like it since. There's no reason to run Oracle's database proprietary enterprise solution at all. If you want to, you can run MySQL, which they incidentally own, which is free. But if you want to, you can run it on MongoDB. You can run it in Postgres. So I think that the sort of big corridors of power and governments and multi-million, but they can do whatever crap they want. It won't drive innovation. So
yeah. Well, let's put it this way. Do you remember when Oracle acquired MySQL?
Yes, I was wrong about that because I thought that they were going to run it into the ground. And then when Maria got spun off, which has been mentioned as well, I thought that it was very clear what was going to happen, and they sort of didn't. So I thought that was.
But they've also not done anything great with it since. Essentially, Oracle did to MySQL what Heroku did to the PaaS platforms. Salesforce did to Heroku.
Salesforce, yeah.
Yeah, they bought it, They kept it alive. They made it so it was profitable. AKA, oh, you scale up business built on MySQL. Now we can get you onto Oracle via our consultancy businesses. Here's a free and better version. And now that you've got people at Railway in the Heroku space that have spun out, and it's like MariaDB from MySQL. It's like, we're not going to be terrible. We're just not actually going to be good.
Who is supposedly the baddies and the goodies with this story? Because I don't know what the story even is.
According to Oracle, it is IBM is bad for having Red Hat close off Red Hat, and at the same time promote Oracle Linux. By the way, Oracle Linux is, with a little bit of Googling, is exactly the same as AWS Linux. The only place it's ever used is on their own fecking cloud.
Is this just like watching the two biggest school bullies just punching themselves and no one cares?
No, it's more like watching two biggest school nerds hand slapping each other.
Who cares? Also, do you think anybody? This comes down to like the comment from Sketch NI there, which is like, do you think anybody involved in Canonical or Debian or Arch is even, or CentOS or whatever, is remotely looking at this going, do we care? Because I wouldn't.
Well, the thing is, I do actually care about Red Hat closing.
I don't know. I've never. I know that sort of in some golden age of old golden era about 2001 that Red Hat was massive, but I don't know anything about it.
Red Hat has always been the stable go-to for running Linux, enterprise Linux in cloud infrastructure. When did you start doing production app dev, mate?
I think about 2015.
Okay, that explains it, because when I was doing it with the original part of my career, yes, that wonderful part where you didn't have version control and you FTP'd it to a server.
Oh no, that before that point, I still did all that, and we were running Oracle Linux and an Oracle database instance, and that was from about 2008.
Yeah, so we were doing so it's pretty much the same, except all of our development boxes, because it was pre-Vagrant being very well known and all that jazz.
Pre-Vagrant ruining your lives.
Yeah, VM box and all that jazz. So we were running Ubuntu images because it was the easiest one to rebuild on the work machine, on your desktop environments. But all of our servers were running Red Hat for the fact that they were ridiculously stable. Like the reason we used them instead of using a Debian build was the fact that instead of having to run it way behind the current bleeding edge version, you could run it. Their stable build was genuinely stable as hell.
It just works.
Yeah. And literally all we had to do is push up our PHP code and run a migration script, and we were all golden.
That sounds all right.
It was it's one of those weird ones where it's like, I'm kind of upset because of the fact that like it's that level of openness. We paid for a really cheap license for one box on that one machine, because that's all. Yes, back in the days of the internet when all you required is one box somewhere.
Back into day, macro services, what we call cigarettes. I remember co-hosted environments. It's £2.99. It cost me a month.
Bollocks! I think that's what Linode did cost me back in the day.
Grandpa telling war stories.
Oh,
that's what I need to make sure that I keep myself current in, that I never turn into the various. I will do inevitably, but I don't turn into the people with war stories, because nobody cares about them, do they?
No, I don't. They have all these war stories have little to no relevance now, except unless it's a really good story for explaining how commodity hardware came into play.
Yes. Also, Sketch NI again has given me my segue to be able to do the gym rant.
Oh, incoming rant face.
And do you know what that word is? Can you follow it up with the word that you think that has triggered me? What do you think it is?
cPanel.
Not you. I was talking to the audience.
Oh.
There we go. There we go. There we go.
Thank you for the delay.
And then it comes in. Okay, so my original link, if you can, do you know what? I don't think we need the original link because the original link is not sort of relevant actually. I am currently working at trying to put a band together, which sort of sounds like a criminal caper, of community people that will save a business, and it's a startup, and they went offshore. Exactly, war story. This is not a war story.
This is a battle plan.
This is me reporting from the front line right now. All of the things that you don't think are happening are still happening, which I find absolutely mental. So the company may or may not, I'm not sure, have run out of investment money. There wasn't probably a lot to start off with anyway. It's not, we're not talking, VC San Francisco land here. The offshore developer, and I know you're trolling. I'm gonna just put my hand over here.
Flying Sealand. I so wish that was true.
Sealand. God, that's a name I've not heard. They've got their own currency and everything, don't they?
They run as a server farm for casinos for reasons.
Oh, that's what they did. Yeah, and it's off the coast of Essex or something, isn't it? So anyway, yeah, they paid offshore, and it was an Indian developer. They sort of scrambled to get some developers together, and then no one, they weren't delivering anything, and then sort of, I don't know, after a couple of months, it comes to a head, and then friends get brought on board to say, do you think they're doing what? Do we think we're looking professional here, like in terms of we need this app right now? Do you think? And you get handed an app. It's in Laravel. It gets handed over. All of the secrets are in the environment variables file that's been transmitted over email. It's administered in production by cPanel. The deployment technique is taking the existing folder and deploying it via FTP, not SFTP, FTP. And you're just like, did you pay for this? And the answer is yeah. So I just find it, the original, the what is a war story was the 2008 thing, because that was an offshore kind of thing where it was a .NET app and they made a pig's breakfast out of that. But in 2023, for this still to be happening, of people that are so sort of unqualified for what they do, is just baffling. It's just absolutely mental. Of course, the other things go with that question. When they say that they're testing, it means that they're trying to. Oh, okay. No, I've just remembered more. It's coming back to me. There's no tests, obviously. Of course, there isn't any tests.
Whoa. Like Laravel literally comes with some, as I have been recently discovering as of last week, Laravel comes with certain things pre-configured.
Mm-hmm.
Testing.
So the test directory is there because it comes there and it's pre-configured. Nothing's in there. It comes with, when you install it, you have a choice now. You can choose, you used to be able to choose Svelte, but now you can choose between React and you can choose between Vue for how Vite is configured for your front end. They told the owners of the business that it is written in Vue.js. It is not. It's jQuery and HTML. Not HTML raw files, not blade templates, raw files that they then use something to try and put variables into it. There you go, lovely. And just looking at the fact that nightmare fuel. Pest is nice, but I'm not going to get into the political problems of why there are ways that it is being promoted that I don't agree with. But the syntax is quite nice. So, and there was the last thing. If you wanted to develop it locally, the developers told the non-technical founders they needed to install WAMP.
Hang on. Hang on, when was the last release of WAMP? Because the problem is, I should I admit to remembering using WAMP in, like as my development environment?
I used WAMP in 2011, I think. I don't think it's really the concept of WAMP itself, because WAMP's actually quite
but it's
good at what it does. It's just not
when was
good
the last
at.
time it was actively supported?
Oh, I don't know. There you go. Oh, it's still maintained. Yeah, but it's still maintained.
Oh.
If you want to use it for whatever it is you do, it's just as a piece of professional software, don't use WAMP, because that's ridiculous. But then on top of that, Laravel comes with Sail out of the box, and they've got Sail, and Laravel Sail is just a wrapper, like a lot of bits and pieces they do.
You mean absolutely everything Laravel does?
No comment. It's a Docker Compose file that you can then publish using a command, right? So they did that.
The look of impressed in my face describes how I currently feel about Taylor Otwell.
Also, I'm no comment. Yeah, so they put Sail in, but then clearly didn't know how to use it, so they just left it, and they said, if you want to get this working, you need to use WAMP. And you're like, right, you want us to stitch all of the pieces of this app? You want us to wire it together like it's 2010? Okay, no.
Okay, so why are you saving it?
I'm saving it because it's a great idea. It's a great business, and the non-technical founders have been completely taken to the cleaners by cowboys. I say cowboys.
Hang on, did they not have any technical leadership?
Not really. No, they didn't. But the problem is that they. No, I'm not going to go into that. I think that's because a lot that's hearsay, and it's not really fair. But I think there was technical leadership. That was the problem.
Right. Okay. So there was a thought there was technical leadership. There wasn't actually technical leadership, and then there's Jim to the rescue.
Maybe not really. Let's say Jim and a couple of other people helping to rescue it. That's because I'm not Batman. I mean, I'm not even very good at coding. So there you go.
I am making a terrible. There we go. Just so you can read it, because if I just say it, it's not going to be funny.
That's awful. That's just awful.
What? That's like every other PHP pun that bloody well is.
Well, of course there is. Also, for anyone that thinks there is context behind me saying no comment when it comes to Laravel and Taylor Otwell and everything like that, it really is no comment. Specifically, I'm going on Monday to Tennessee to Laracon US, where I'll talk to all the Laravel developers, because I am a Laravel developer. So I want to hear what everyone wants.
You're not a Laravel developer. You're a PHP dev that's lamped with Laravel.
Well, lamped with it. My last job was a Laravel partner.
The business was a Laravel partner. You weren't.
Well, I came from Symphony, but
exactly. It's like I still. I'm not going to lie. If Zend was still a thing, I'd rather be writing Zend. I like the Zend framework.
I don't necessarily agree. I don't think that's. I think you're lying.
Why?
What? Because what was Zend?
Zend 2. Or Slim. I'd like to write Slim instead.
Slim's good. I like Slim. That's only because one of the core maintainers happens to be Rob.
No, my problem with Laravel is the whole nuts and bolts included in it. Same reason I don't like Rails.
Is it?
Same reason I don't like Angular.
I feel like I'm opening a can of worms here. Is there anything you do like?
Laravel, or in general?
No, in general.
I like cheese.
No, in tech.
I do like Slim Framework because I like the unopinionated structure for it. I do like Happy over Express because of active support rather than Express 4.0 being stuck at the exact same position it was 4.5 years ago. Love Postgres because of its plugin modules. Hate half the plugins that are made for it, though.
You don't really like anything, do you? I'm trying to find I'm also trying to work out. I'm trying to work out who Sketch is, because I'm trying to remember, because now they've said an email via Salma, so I'm trying to work out who it is. So there's but then I mean I suppose true developers don't really like anything, do they? They sort of hate everything.
I have the rule of thumb: all programming languages suck, just for different reasons.
But they do. I make a Lisp joke in my current talk. Sorry, Lisp.
Please tell me you do it with a Lisp, because that would actually be bloody hilarious.
I'm not going to do that because that is starting to infringe on code of conduct.
Really? I suppose that it is.
But it is, isn't it? Really? Because that's taking the piss out of someone because they've got a Lisp, and that's just
No. That's Oh, damn it.
There you go. We'll just let the audience do it for us.
Yay. How to avoid breaking the code of conduct. Make people do it for you. This is also not me and Jim condoning this behavior anywhere where a code of conduct exists.
I also have to write. On my talk. I'm writing a sort of a history and the evolution of APIs at the moment. And when I trailed it in front of the team, there were several things where they were like, "I think you've got to lose that." I think the disappointing one was I identify that in the sort of late 70s and early 80s we see we see the sort of the technology clans emerge, and I can't reveal too much because none of you are going to watch it anyway.
I will.
Okay, well, Mike might because he's in Berlin. If any audience,
I will be. I'm going to be live streaming part of the event. I may just live stream your talk for you.
Oh, please don't. But yeah, okay, maybe you can. But when I identify the clans, like for instance, I say there's clan Turtleneck who just want their machines to work, but at the considerable trade-off of spending vast quantities of money on their machines, and everything's very sort of. Yeah, and there's clan Bulmer who absolutely adore sweaty casual business attire. And one of the clans I label, this is great, I'm confusing Mike with this, which means I'm definitely confusing anyone else.
Well, no, I know exactly what you're saying. I'm just wondering where you're going.
There's clan, there's the wizard clan, which are full of bearded people that say, actually, when you refer to Linux, what I think you'll find is, and I think the beards and everything just went, there was just too much blokiness in it.
Yeah, because unfortunately you've described, here, let's have the wankiness of Steve Jobs, the grind culture. Here, let's have the sweaty fat man of Steve Ballmer, and let's have the magical beard of Stallman.
And the original quote, of which Sketch is absolutely bang on, is I did call it Clan Neckbeard, but then I got rid of it. But the reason why it's
to be fair, Stallman is a neckbeard.
Oh yes, he is. Yeah. Oh, but that's
there's a reason I shave my neck, not so I don't join the clan by mistake.
But there's also but it's a historic joke about what was happening then. If you say oh yeah, but surely Stallman was a visionary, I'd say get out.
No, Stallman. You know what? Actually, no. Stallman was a visionary because he was opinionated and said it loud enough.
It was all right. It was
good vision.
Yeah, it's just what comes afterwards.
Yeah, nothing good.
No, Uncle Bob. It's
Oh no, I've forgotten his existence again. He's like the game.
The game. I've heard about the game in years.
That's how I feel about Uncle Bob. I forget he exists, and then somebody brings it. Oh God, that was a thing.
This is the only irrelevant bit of the podcast reboot that we're going through now. Sketch, you don't need to know who Uncle Bob is. It's fine.
Google Uncle Bob.
Clean code.
Oh yeah, it's clean. I was about to say, was it dry or clean?
No, but I think dry was in that book of clean code, which was relevant, but see, here we go. Look, when I was about 22, people said, "Oh, I just lost the game. And I'm like, it's like a sort of young adults thing that carries on. That's effectively sort of your mum smells, isn't it? Really,
unfortunately,
it's just crap.
Uncle Bob got very cancelled. Very, very, very cancelled.
Well,
To be
yeah, he
fair,
did. Well, no, I'm going to keep this very, very short because otherwise it opens up. He didn't get cancelled. He was a dickhead, and everyone said we're not interested in you anymore. And people have. A lot of people in the alt-right have latched onto this word cancel and said, oh, you've cancelled him. No, it's just if you're awful, then people will stop paying attention to you. And that's it. You know, there's no secret to this. You know, I find it absolutely baffling. It's like saying throwing out woke and saying it's a thing. Like,
yeah,
when the Sun say the wokerati have done this, and you're like, but all you're doing is just attaching words to things. It doesn't mean anything.
This sounds like politics.
Yeah, no, that's the reason why I wanted to keep it short.
But yeah, no.
But we've gone off topic.
But luckily, the game, just think about it, it's a complete generation knows, well, a generation on just either side of it. Everybody else has no idea, no desire to keep it alive. So when that generation is gone, it'll disappear forever.
But it won't. It will just keep on going, won't it?
No. Because the only people who care about the game are the people who lost the game when they were teenagers in their young 20s. And eventually, and nobody younger than that cares, nobody older than that cares. When the last millennial has died, the only thing that will exist will be a Wikipedia page.
I hope so. I've got faith in Gen Z at the moment.
I don't.
They're being. Just I'm doing the optimistic one, and you can be the dickhead afterwards. So there's like a rejection of sort of drinking and drug culture, and quite sort of sensible, and then having to work their asses off because nobody's giving opportunities, so therefore they have to get their own business acumen. To me, I'm like, they're doing all right.
I have a problem with the Gen Z group, and that's because they seem to be split into two very distinct groups of people. And there doesn't appear to be much in the way of mix between them. There are the people who have got the work ethic of a Gen Xer who's like, nobody's giving us dick, so we're making it happen. And I approve of those. And then there's the other side where I'm going to become TikTok famous for eating Tide Pods.
I mean, if it's a valid business venture.
Eating Tide Pods.
What are Tide Pods?
Washing machine pods.
Okay.
Detergent in a biodegradable bag.
Now, like with the real sort of innovation hat on, if you could make a cuisine out of the fact that you're eating them already, and then drizzle something on it and pair it with something, it's good content.
Oh, God. Unfortunately, Jim, as you are becoming more and more aware recently, the longer you stay in the world of developer relations and weirdness like that, content creation is kind of a thing.
Yeah, there you go. Look, there you go. A drizzle of rinseade on the, and a sprinkle of like old stuck on sort of coriander that you've got off other dishes.
So it's. For those of you without the genetic difference that means that coriander tastes like soap, here's some actual soap.
Coriander doesn't taste like soap. What's wrong with you?
Genetically, coriander to certain people tastes like soap.
Oh, okay. This is like cucumber, isn't it? Cucumber is just like an absolute disgrace.
Cucumber is just hard water.
Well, no, but it's not. It's not though. It's not. A lot of people say, "Oh, what are you moaning about?" It's just sort of watery grit, but it's not. But whatever that sort of thing is in the middle, it's stale pond water, and it's disgusting, and it's so disgusting. It smells disgusting, and nothing's good about it.
You sound like a child. Literally, you sound like a child who's like, "I don't want to eat it. It smells like the pond."
But it does. And I only developed my hatred.
To Blunderbuss, they have slapped cucumber as one of their items.
Slapped cucumber?
Yup.
That sounds like... okay, that's an interesting choice of...
No kink shaming, but that is what it is.
Well, it does seem like a bit like slapped cucumber. Right, I'm glad that we sort of. I think this episode will chalk down to sort of getting our flow back again, because I think we got to slapped cucumber, and that's absolutely spot on.
It's fine, mate, because you know what's happening when we do this next in 2 weeks.
Are we doing it in Berlin?
We're doing it in Berlin, and so far I've got a Phil Nash and a couple of other people lined up.
You got Phil Nash.
Uh-huh.
Am I going to have to sound like I know what I'm talking about? Which Phil Nash? The Twilio Phil Nash?
Yes.
Not the C++ Phil Nash.
No. The one that is absolutely hilarious and has a untapped score that makes my eyes bulge.
That's fine. That's fine, because that means that it just means I don't have to do anything, which is good. It just means I can just, like we did with Stuart. If you get Sil on, you just press the on button, and then you're like,
you press the on button and set up the topic of discussion. Just let him go.
Off he goes.
But yeah, no, it's Phil Nash, and I'm currently lining up another couple of other people for it.
Hold on. When you say another,
I'm renting a room for 10 people, hopefully.
Oh God. Right. Okay. Bear in mind that on the Wednesday is my sort of my company dinner. So I don't know when we'll have to try and find out when it's going out.
Yeah. The first things first, I'm just confirming the room's available for that week, and I'm just going to pick a day and see how it goes. And it's going to be an evening.
All right.
Anyway, back to today's podcast. We do have one more thing, and you've got it titled as bullshittery.
You didn't have to read out what was put on the agenda.
Oh no. It's literally the only comment attached to it. And it's like, I kind of see why, but I'm going like, what is going on? Because this has got to come from somewhere. And I don't just mean from Marcel, but like, what?
Everyone's jumping on it, and they love it. Everyone loves the idea. Everyone loves the idea, and the idea is to have. I'm not really sure what the idea is yet, because there doesn't seem to be any sort of compiling process. But the idea seems to be native PHP on the desktop.
No. Why? This is the same thing as that whole, okay. We've discussed this before, Jim. And you brought it to my attention. And I've called it out in public. It's complete bullshit. Why in the hell do you want native desktop PHP? We already know native desktop JavaScript through Electron is fucking awful. Why in Hades left it?
Because it's Laravel, and you can. And Laravel can do everything. So that means that I know that it uses Electron. I don't know whether it's binaries. I don't know how it does binaries. I don't know whether you can set targets for operating systems so you can compile into multiple operating system platforms. I don't know what it does, but it's native PHP. Write your desktop apps in PHP.
No. Okay. Right. PHP 7 and above, PHP 8 specifically, now that I'm starting to like the actual language structure, you know what? It's nice. And it works. But for the love of fucking God, don't bastardize it and stick it places not where it's not meant to be.
I'm just letting the audience and Mike do their conclusions, because at the end of the day, I am the PHP developer advocate for.
So am I. It's bad.
My employer, and therefore I have no opinions on this.
We're going to the pub after this. I need to have your opinions.
Why? You know what my opinions are.
Oh, if it's the same one you had last time we brought this up,
it's no different.
Oh, excellent.
Use the right tools for the job.
Right. Don't get me wrong. PHP as a now that it actually, if I remember correctly, proper multi-threading support is a thing.
It's not multi-threading. It's coroutines. But now that you can,
it's no longer a single-threaded system, which is one of the problems it had in the Yonder years.
Yeah. So what it does is it does coroutines through. It fires up a new thread, and then it fires up however many new processing threads it needs to, and then will administer them to effectively do asynchronous development. So you can do async await now.
Yeah. Which is a design pattern that, yes, because I'm primarily a JavaScript person, I actually flipping love. And I think flipping love, I can use it nearly everywhere.
Yes, just Jay Walter. So yeah, it's called Fibers. It's called PHP Fibers. And now, if you want to see it if you want to see it in production, then you need to look at React, which is the first project to use React as a name, which is React PHP. So that is a non-blocking PHP coroutine Fibers.
Hang on, it's not the first.
No, it's not.
There was Ratchet years ago.
That was.
But Ratchet never got merged.
That was no, it didn't get merged. No, also that was a hack around it. No, so to explain it, Fibers are now part of the core, which then the asynchronous frameworks then use Fibers in order to do coroutines. That's what happens.
But yeah, okay, so because if you single-threaded applications for desktops are stupid, especially for things that you would build using something like PHP. Absolutely stupid, because of the fact that a desktop application has so many things going on. You want it to be able to do some form of multi-threading. Coroutines, safe enough. Tell that to Windows. Windows File Explorer is a very specific use case because it's still using the original code base from, I think it's 95. The Windows team are very, very explicit over making things backwardly compatible. It's the reason why there's 2 bloody control panels on Windows 10 and 11, which annoys the crap out of me. But I understand why it is. It's trying to make the same code base work between all the things so that older APIs still exist and work for, things like medical equipment. Because let's put it this way, if you're going for an MRI, you kind of want it to be able to not kill you. But no, okay, so the multi-threading thing I think is great. And it's also going to make everything, especially if they end up having a proper streaming endpoint service for PHP. So you can do media streaming properly.
Personally,
I think that's the last thing stopping it from being able to compete with things like Go and Rust.
But it doesn't compete with Go and Rust.
Oh no, but because there are how many people do you know that have they have their one hammer and they beat all nails with it?
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, and rather than just trying to learn just enough stuff to be dangerous in the different language, there is a lot of companies and individuals who just want to beat it with their big hammer.
Yeah,
please do not interpret that.
It's a good kind of it's a good business model to be able to do that, but it's not good to actually do that in practice.
No, but I still think, yes, multi-threading means you can do the desktop thing, but I still think it's flipping terrible.
So anyway, I'm going to watch a demo of this in Nashville next week, and we'll see what happens. I don't know what it's for. I watched in my early days the PHP GTK experiment and library happened, where you could create a Linux desktop app because PHP was interacting, interfacing with GTK to create Windows. That was not what it was designed to do. So don't do that. That seems like a fucking stupid thing to do. But there you go. Is the book? Oh look! Mr. Bald Bearded Builder is in. Has he been in the whole time?
I don't think BBB's been stalking you all this time.
BBB.
Michael from the other Birmingham.
What do you mean the other? Oh yes, of course. I forgot he's from. It's from Michael. I know it's not. I know it's not close, but to me, I'm British, so it's the same. going to Tennessee, and it's not that far from Alabama as far as I'm concerned. Your weather in like the summer is not manageable. I don't like it. Come on. It's thunderstorms and 35 degrees in Nashville next week, so I'm not looking forward to that.
Mate, it's the same in Birmingham this week.
It's thunderstorms, and it has been. We've just had one. It's 19 degrees, and that's different. And when I say degrees, I mean proper degrees, not fake degrees. Should we promote what we're doing? Because I've got to go. Wait, I mean, you can carry on the podcast and just.
You need to go do a thing, and this is essentially a warm up for
It is a warm up for Berlin. This thing that we're doing right now is a warm up, but also I do have Child downstairs, who has had his like third day at big school, so I kind of need to go downstairs.
No worries. Okay, so I'm going to let Jim intro his thing for next week because it gets out of the way and nobody cares.
Actually, thanks, Mike, for the lovely intro. On that point, BBB does need to say whether he's going to Laracon in next week, because if it's not that far away, in real, I'm going to ignore the fact that I just saw real Birmingham on there.
I was wondering how long it was going to take you to notice that one.
So
two people to not wind up with Birmingham jokes. One of them is Jim.
Oh, God. So yes, I'm going to Laracon. I'm going to Tennessee on Monday, and we're going to do Laracon. It's 800 people. It's looking to be. It's going to be quite cool. I'm going to be probably.
Got my T-shirt on from my last PHP event.
Oh, I didn't get accepted for that, so there you go. And then after that, I shall be a knockoff, but I'm not even sure who that's aimed at, of whether Knockoff Birmingham is our one or their one.
Anyway, finish your promo, you blooming idiot.
I need to stop looking at that. Look at this. I need to stop looking at this. Anyway, so we are devs. To do actual promo, I have my talk sorted out now, which is called Awful APIs, a history of terrible industry mistakes. And I must say, I did give this talk to the team to get the feedback and to do it's effectively your DevRel PR, and I think everyone had quite a little bit of feedback, and also everyone was kind of like taken aback by it a little bit, because it's probably the least tech talk they'd ever seen. So if you want to come and see something really wild happen on stage, come and see me speak. It's written. I don't know how to describe it. It's like it's written as a semi stand-up routine that isn't funny. So there you go. You can catch that in We Are Devs, and that's 25th, 24th of July, something like that, in Berlin.
Which then leads me into my one, which is I am also in Berlin with Jim. It's going to be hilarious if me and Jim are going to be facing each other for 3 days. The amount of slander and insults that are going to be entirely personally based, because obviously we cannot talk about our employers or the other person's employers. Because
Mike's just going to come to the stand and just sort of lay heavy into me. Sorry. Okay, there we go. And Julia's just joined. 27. Your boss is correcting you. Fantastic.
Well, no, correction. My boss is correcting you.
That's fine. I can be corrected by my competitors' bosses, just not mine.
But yeah, so we are both in Berlin. I'll be giving a talk on what developer experience is and why people should care about making things easier to consume for other developers, internal or external. So yeah, we're both going to be there. I'm going to be bringing some joke stuff to the booth, so please come down to my booth, and then I'll send you over to Jim's to get their swag, because go get swag. And hopefully there's going to be a tech off topic from Berlin with many, many people that we know, which is going to be bloody hilarious. I'm going to bring a crate of beer and see what happens.
let's see what happens with that. I look forward to I look forward to that. Right, I need to sign off for children reasons. So it has been lovely watching you sort of all roll in. And it's been a joy to do this again because it's been quite a long time. I think it's the warm up as I get into my flow, as I'm recovering from a sort of minor burnout and some holiday.
No worries, my dude. Right. Thanks very much, everybody, for tuning in. I'm going to edit this and publish it, and we'll see you all at a later date. Goodbye.
Bye.